My health world, namaste, enlightenment.
Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to a very exciting episode of My Health World with the incredible Sasha and Camilla, who are here all the way from Sweden. How exciting is that? It's your 9 a.m., it's my 6 p.m. here in Australia. And through this incredible technology, we're able to connect. So there will be links to the website for these powerful beings, and needless to say, they pretty much do it all, I would say, guys. I will hand it over to you soon to explain a little bit more. But what I'm really drawn to about your work is that notion of the hero's journey. So your business, your organization is called the Heroes Tribe or Heroes Tribe, and speaks to the hero's journey. And I find that we all have that sense deep within that we are the hero or the heroine within our own life. And if we pay attention to the signs and the synchronicities and the whispers and the magic that's all around us every moment, we're able to go upon that journey. We're able to trust in what we're being shown, and we're able to activate that hero within. And it's incredibly exciting for me to talk to you because you really have a structure to the work that you offer. So people can join with you and literally take this hero's journey step by step. In particular, if you would talk about the 3 pillars and the 5 gates, and of course, just tell us a little bit more about how you got into running your beautiful organization.
Yeah, well, first, thank you so much, Karianne, for having us. Yes. It's amazing, and it's so nice to talk from Sweden to Australia, different time zones. It's, exciting. And maybe, Camilla, you just introduce how we started with all of this.
Because both of us have a very different background. And actually to the Hero Tribe, or to the founders of the Hero Tribe, belongs a third person, Joanna. She's in Poland at the moment. We met in Vietnam. And like my quick backstory is that actually I studied hotel management, and I worked for 5-star hotels and kind of follow the path of having a career. And I was in Hanoi and worked there as a restaurant manager. I met Joanna and Sasha because they were on a journey at that time also, going to a Qigong class of Sasha. And I was already starting at that point, noticing that I'm really, really unhappy in my life and living unhealthy, and just had this question, isn't there more to life? And how do I become happy? And that's how, we met. And I totally changed my life and opening up a fitness studio in Vietnam, and then started to do courses with Sasha. And then we thought, well, let's bring all our knowledge that we have together and create a camp, a concept, a path that we would have loved to come across when we were younger, and now just started and find a way how we can give that to other people as well.
Oh, that's
so
beautiful.
Maybe you tell how
your
background came.
My background is really different than working in hotels. I really totally refused the ordinary world. What in this concept of the hero's journey is like the status quo, the craziness out there. I really refused it. My mom was always an entrepreneur. My dad was not, and I could choose. I could see both paths. And I thought, no, I will never work for someone else. And luckily I could do that. And I was always drawn to the mysticism of Asia. And so I started martial arts when I was a kid. And then I exaggerated that in a way. I studied Japanese history and language and went to Asia And I was always searching for this ideal that you have in your mind when you were a kid and you watched Kung Fu movies. That you get on top of the mountain and there's this one master and he says, sit down and meditate. And in 2 years, maybe we start with the first kick. And I was always searching for this ideal. And now I know it's also just an illusion in a sense, but it fired up my path, certainly.
I love it. You do yoga as well, don't you? So it's a very similar tradition with yoga when you're practicing in its most authentic sense. It really is about the deep meditation and the stillness, and the asana really needs to come later. Now, it doesn't necessarily go in that order in the West, but you could literally stand in Tadasana for 2 years and activate all your internal meridians and activate your chakra system and actually feel yourself as an energetic being. And so many people just want to get straight into handstands, and it's like, yeah, maybe we need to learn to breathe and to be and to quieten the mind. So some parallel journeys there, I imagine, between your martial arts and your yoga, and also a lot of qigong you do as well.
Yeah, for sure. We just had this awesome conversation with the yogic scholar for the upcoming book that we compiled, and he was talking just what you said, that the asana is just it's a tiny fraction, and it's just a support for what is happening inside of you. And it's the same in martial arts. People distinguish between external and internal martial arts. The external is way bigger. And there you have all the fancy moves and kicks and jumps. And of course, the internal path sometimes is harder because like you said, in Qigong, you come to China to a monastery and you begin the morning with the pillar pose. And you stand there and you think about breakfast and all the luxuries you could have at home. And you think, why did I choose the path to come to China?
Why do we, Sasha? Explain to the people listening, what is that calling within us? When it would be easier in some sense just to hang out at home and binge on Netflix and overeat and overindulge. What calls us to this path where we need to move into discipline and we need to move through the toxicity both in the body and the mind? And it's unpleasant. Much of the journey, it's unpleasant. Can you speak to that? What's the calling within us?
Well, I would explain it with the hero's journey now, because it's a beautiful concept, which nowadays has 12 steps. I think the original one had 13 steps, but it's a very tangible concept now, and it really speaks to this, because the ordinary world, or the status quo, has this toxicity that you talked about, and it's I don't know what triggers this kind of seed of awakening in many people. I think every soul knows it, but you need to have a certain energy to cross that threshold, and then you realize something is not right. Like in the Matrix, I always like to play around with these archetypes. You just feel there's something not right. And one of the first steps of the hero's journey is always the call to adventure. And I always say the call to adventure can come in so many ways. It can come in a very pleasant way, like you sitting sitting at home or sitting at work, and there's this advertisement of a brilliant trip to I don't know, Peru, and you just decide, oh, come on, I just do it. That's a very pleasant way. Or it comes with an toxic body over years and years, and then just something happens, an illness manifests, and you just know, okay, I cannot go on like this. Or
sometimes it's like we're beating our head against the brick wall, isn't it? You know, and continuing to repeat the same behaviours, you know, eat the same diet, hang out with the same people. And whilst we know it's not working for us, sometimes it does take a breakdown of sorts in order to have that epiphany and that wake up. But I also love the way the call to adventure can be pleasant. You know, I think if we're in tune with our emotional self and we're listening to those feelings before it has to hit the body in such a dynamic and forceful way, then we can pay attention. But I guess that's also the refinement of people who've been on the path for a little bit longer, that wisdom dawns, that there's these wake-up calls that are coming in before we need to break our leg and go, okay, I'm paying attention, I'm going to move in this direction. So Camilla, how was it for you? Was it a pleasant segue into your hero's journey, or did you by life?
Yeah, actually, I think no, it was not a really pleasant one. Like I felt I was in this working habit and working 6 days a week, 9 to 17 hours a day in the hospitality industry, and also in a country in Vietnam where there is not this 9 till 5, 4 or 5 days a week. It's like 7 days and beyond. And so it was not a really pleasant one. I felt really sick and tired and unhappy, so unhappy. So it was really one day, it's like waking up again, having a long night and typing into Google, how do I become happy? It sounds really stupid, but that was my start.
But that's calling to the greater cosmos, isn't it? Like we might use the modern technology, but it's a prayer. It's your heart opening and saying, please. It's that plea. Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
And like looking back to it as well, it was like the opener to just send out like something there, because then like step by step, I got a book that really kind of helped me to look differently at my work. Where can I find pleasure at my work? And then I met people. Then Sasha and Joanna came my way, and so it's just step by step. Just because I put this idea out there, like I'm a huge fan of manifestation. So I also then started like coming across of people who kind of gave me this idea. Louise Hay was like one person with this manifestation of getting healthy, and I looked at her books and videos, and started in the morning sitting there doing a little bit of meditation and just visualizing what I want to have, and it happened. And
it's powerful. It really works. Yes, I didn't have a pleasant transition into my spiritual journey. I was living in London and partying and working around the clock, thinking, oh, this is what you do, you know, when you're 20, 21, burning the candle at both ends. And literally my body, my emotional body, everything just broke down. And so I got catapulted onto my spiritual path. And I can definitely relate to Louise L. Hay, because it was like this savior. This book came my way, and just practicing I love and approve of myself, and doing breath work, and just the same practices we do now, those simple rituals make a complete difference. And I never looked back. And maybe similar to yourself, Sasha, I never worked for anyone else. I came home from London back to Australia and just started my own business, because to me, I had no other choice. I had to live this path 24/7. And because it had healed me, I knew I had to then pass that on to others, which brings us into the work that you're doing. And we'll get into your handbook, your hero's handbook, shortly. But let's just cycle back, because we'll probably all just keep chit-chatting. But let's just cycle back just so our listeners have those set steps, because I love when I looked at your website about the 3 pillars and the 5 gates. I feel we need to cover those, because it's just gold. And I think people can really resonate to those specific steps and what that's about.
Yeah, you want to explain this 3 Triforce?
The Triforce.
Triforce. It's so good.
It needs an epic name.
It's like Yoda's going to come out and, you know, give you all this wisdom about the Triforce.
So when we started to create our camps, the Spirit of the Hero camps, we thought, okay, what is the concept? What do we have to cover? What do we want to cover? And also looked into our own lives, what's important there. And we had these three forces, which is body, soul, and connection. So body is for us that it is important to work out your body as well. You know, your muscles, your lung, you need that to go through your hero's journey. So it is important to work it out, maybe through yoga or running or any kind of exercises, Qigong, karate. We see there are lots of ways out there. And for us, it's really important. There is not the one perfect way. It is not for everyone yoga. It is not for everyone karate. So we are different and unique, everyone. So there are different ways. And we see it with Joanna, me, and Sasha. We love different things. And so the body is really important to work it out. And then there's the soul. And obviously that's everything what's within us. What our dreams are and what our emotions, and to look inside and see where that you don't have just the outside healthy body, but also that your mind is in peace and in harmony. And then there's the connection part, and that's for us the connection to the outer world. So to other people around us, but also to the environment, to everything that we can touch, and the nature. These are the three Triforces that we decided on, that we want to focus on them in our camps and work with them. And we believe those three needs to be in harmony to enjoy this life and to really live up our purpose that we have here.
Oh, it's beautiful. And speaking of your camp, so there's in-person training that you do, camp style or retreat style, but you also have a really impressive online training range. And someone knows what they're doing, I tell you, when it comes to graphic design in your business, because it looks absolutely beautiful. Because we also, in our business, we have studios, we do in person, and we do online as well. And there is an art form to presenting spiritual concepts and spiritual training online, where you're not losing the essence of your training using an online platform. And you can feel the energy in your offerings in those online spaces. So well done to you guys, because it feels so nourishing. And maybe we have to take our iPad out to the bush and do some Qigong, but why not? Why not use the technology and use these portals, because then it's available to everyone. And I guess particularly in 2020 and the dynamics that have gone on this year, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that as well. But thankfully people have opened up more to online training, and so many people this year have activated their spiritual path because they've come to a point of misery within their life and realized there needs to be something deeper. And it's happened en masse. And then there's individuals like yourself and like what we're doing in our business, which is 22 years old. And, it certainly has hit some great heights, but I know for people like us, it's going to go to a greater height, because people need support at this time. They need assistance, and they need to look not to gurus, but they need to look to people who have walked the path and done the journey, and can give guidance from a place of direct experience. So let's also then have a look at the 5 gates, because I love this as well. So who would like to
well, it has to do also, it's kind of entangled with our design and this idea behind it. So to be honest, there is this nerdy aspect in it. So we also, especially that's my part maybe in it, I also liked Kung Fu movies, fantasy, science fiction, and so on, because it always had this kind of inbuilt promise of the hero's journey. And that also reflects in our design now. So we wanted to bring that back, that every a teenager with this sense would think, wow, that I didn't believe that this is possible. I can really do that in real life, walk the path and discover myself out there. And so the 5 gates is a concept that we use in our online training and in the camps. And it goes back to the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, or more Chinese philosophy than medicine, because that's the background of the Qigong that we teach. And there's so much wisdom in the 5 elements. It's like it's almost a system like the hero's journey with this. I always say it has the natural laws you can understand through these circular explanation models. And so each gate is passing through one of the elements. So you start with wood, which in Chinese stands for creation or new beginnings and creativity and expansion. And that's the start of the journey. And then you discover what you have and what you need and what you're looking for and where you're lacking growth. And then you walk through the gate step by step, reaching kind of back to water where you go deep within, almost to rest and almost to the dying state, which is also back to the hero's journey. It's always a part of it. You have to die to be reborn, to transform and be the new version in the hero's journey. And then you do it again and again and again.
Oh,
and Gates is just, yeah. Gates is something that speaks to me because that's also, I have this very Asian background. I spent a lot of time there, and they have this beautiful, just the setup of a garden where you walk through this wooden gate and or you walk up to Mount Wudang, which is a center of Taoism, and you walk through the first heavenly gate, the second heavenly gate, the third heavenly gate. And that's so amazing because it's always, each step is an initiation, and you feel it when you walk through this old stone gates, hundreds of years old, and you walk further up the mountain. And that's something we wanted to conserve.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a journey that we can all choose, isn't it? You know, it's just having that absolute trust in ourselves as the creative power, and knowing that if we just break through our fears and know that the signs will turn up in each moment, we just need to keep following those signs, and the journey continues to unfold, and the path continues to reveal itself. I love the fact that you talked about death, because for me, what's happening this year with so many people in a state of fear, we need to accept that death is a beautiful reality for us all. There's nothing to fear. And for me, when we remove that fear, then we truly live. We are truly alive to the present moment. And we therefore take risks in our life. So many people are frightened of taking risks, but actually it's when you're on the edge of your comfort zone that you feel the exhilaration of life move through you. That's why we practice Qigong and yoga and martial arts. We want to harness that chi, that prana. We want to feel the life force rushing through us in every moment. We don't need to get perverted thrills out of life like many people are unconsciously living. We can actually receive that pure life force energy from the creator and stay aligned and therefore be absolutely pure loving beings upon this earth. And I know that's the work that you do, and you can feel the energy coming off both of you, that that you're in that divine essence. You carry that coding within you. So was it if we talk about your Hero's Handbook, that for people listening, there'll be a link to the Kickstarter, I think it's called, which is really to generate support to release your handbook. And it's a step-by-step guide. It's going to be something that everyone needs to have in their back pocket or in their purse. Carry it on you wherever you go, have that reference. What brought about your your yearning to put this out to the world. And I'll have lots of questions for you. So let's just start with that, and then we'll go a little bit further.
I think actually it was not planned to come out this year because we had lots of camps planned and lots of other projects. But yeah, this year was unpredictable in a way. So kind of being, well, yeah, stuck at home, we thought, well, you know, why not just making then the book as a priority? And we have to anyway cancel, reschedule the camps. We don't know how this will turn out. And Sasha, he already started to write the book at the beginning of the year. We were in February and March, we were actually in India and had 2 retreats there, a yoga Qigong retreat and a karate retreat. And Sasha already used the time there to start writing the book. So it was within him already since a lot of years that he said, Camilla, I have to get into this book. There's so much that I actually want to bring out there.
I'm impressed you did that whilst on retreat. I'm normally like, I'm done at the end of a retreat day.
Yeah.
You give so much energy to your group. So I'm impressed, Sasha. I'm very impressed.
No, we do that very cleverly in Salah. We have this, I did it for some years. We are in a monastery, and in the mornings we have karate training up till lunchtime, and then everyone goes off into town. And so I have we all have a training morning, and then I'm free to write and enjoy food and all the wonders of.
And there's usually this increased frequency, isn't there, when you're on camp and doing a lot of rituals with that group energy. So no doubt the conduit was open and you were channeling some powerful things.
It's sometimes much easier for me to write there than when I'm at home and inside of my comfort bubble.
Yeah. So how long has it been in the making? And
I think the idea is really many years in the making, in the back of my mind. But the beautiful thing that happened this year is that the whole concept kind of turned around a little. The initial idea was to put the things that we do in our camps and everything into a format that is like a Boy Scout manual. You have your hero's handbook, and then we have a pre-print test here, and so you just kind of open it up, and then I'm stuck in this situation. It's principle number 2. This is what I'm going to do now.
Wow.
And then all these brilliant people kind of bubbled up from the universe, and some were old contacts of ours, and then many new people kind of arrived from different angles, and it kind of turned around. So the part that we do, or I do with the writing, became smaller and smaller, and more in the concept of the hero's journeys, it's mentors coming from all different angles. So now the idea of the book is that you go through this path, through the different parts of the book, again, like gates. And on the side of the road, there's a new mentor. And it's like waving, and there's this guy from Australia, and then there's this girl from the Amazonas, and telling you just wisdom and advice. And we love that so much because we could connect with many people, and it also enriched what we do. A lot happened this year through the whole process. And also there was this internal, a little conflict, because I had it pre-planned. I had all the things that I wanted to put into. So I'm still in the process of reducing it, because there are other people. And I love that in the end. When the shedding is done, the letting go, then this would feel really light and wonderful.
Wow.
That's now the editing process.
Yeah, so much work has gone into it for you, and I love that, because sometimes less is more, particularly when it's a handbook that people will carry on them, because it's A5 size, I believe. So it's is that correct? so, you know, it's something that you know, is kept on you, and very noble of you to take out some of your writings and to allow these other people into it. So let's talk about who is also part of the book, or some of the people. We may not get through them all, but just for our listeners, there's 2 Australian people that you have involved in your Hero's Handbook. So do you want to explain a little bit more about them and what they offer within your book?
You should tell definitely about the Australians, because they are all contacts from you. I haven't.
So when I was in Australia, I was actually on this on a research trip. It was a research trip mainly to discover old martial arts traditions that are lost. And in Australia, that was super interesting for me to dig deeper and trying to find something that is still Aboriginal Australian when it comes to martial arts. And that was really hard, harder than in other places around the world. And I met this awesome guy from Sydney who's actually not Aborigine, but he had this awesome contacts, and he spent 30 years compiling knowledge, and he knows a lot about it. And so one of the contacts, Bruce Schillingsworth, he was actually introduced over him to us, and he's a really awesome activist for water rights and the Darling River, and he's working with the community and bringing a lot of attention to what the river had, the significance of the river, and the river as a being, and all the animals and other beings and spirits connecting with the river, and that this is endangered and destroyed in many places. So, and that also connects to the idea of natural law and how ridiculous man-made laws are when it comes to beautiful entities like a river. And that was it was also the first person we interviewed, so it was like a gateway to all of this. And the other person is the beautiful Tony Riley, who became a friend many years ago, and she actually kickstarted me into some deeper levels of consciousness when I was still more into Qigong and martial arts. And she is a past life regression expert, and she did thousands of past life regressions around the world, and wrote a book about it. And she's really fascinating when it comes to this topic, and the soul paths of people, and how it connects to the many lives that were before.
My mother's a past life regressionist, and it's just an incredible tool, isn't it, really, because if we're carrying that same coding within us and we just don't understand where the trigger, the weed, so to speak, is coming from, the past life regression can help to get in and pull that weed out. And it's transformational, because whilst inner child healing is powerful, sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper. So I love that. And you've also got shamans from around the world. And this, I don't know her, but you can tell us a little bit more, but it looks like a beautiful lady from the Amazon, which, that's incredible.
Kay Sara. Kay Sara, comes from the Amazon, and she's an activist and actress. And she also was supposed to come actually to Germany, Austria. Vienna, Vienna, to perform there. And her, we had this talk with her, and I was just so amazed. It was also the first time that we got in touch with her, and she is trying to get attention for the Amazon, what's happening there, and how so many indigenous people are, the homes of them are destroyed through politics and humans stealing from nature for their own benefit. We had amazing talks with her, especially as a woman. I was very touched by her because we talked about these rites of passage of rites.
Rites of passage. Your English is amazing, by the way. Like I'm so impressed, you guys. Incredible.
And because she told us what their way is on when you become, you turn from being a girl to become a woman. So she in their traditions is that if you get your period for the first time, you are staying for 5 days, like in a tent away from the group, from the family, to really go through this process to understand what is happening with your body there. And it's like a gate as well, that when you come out there, you get a special food that helps your body to go through this process. And also when you come out there, you receive a new name. And it makes so much sense to me, because in the last years, I was thinking a lot about me and when did I turn to be a woman? And very often I don't feel like a woman. I feel like a girl. And being with your family and people call me by my name, Camilla, I directly go back into this role of being a little girl. I'm the little sister. I'm the girl of my father. And I'm with this name. There are so many identity like being put on me. And that's what I think is amazing. If I would have got a new name, it would definitely be clear that now I'm a woman and now it's a different world. We talked with her about that. That was just like a really eye-opener for me. And also she said her mom is really concerned because nowadays girls, they started to have their period with being like 12 or sometimes 11, or like really like being really young, and it just shows that something goes wrong. Like girls who are 11 or 12, they are not ready to be a woman. And
it makes so much sense what you're saying, because of course we default and slip back into the sister role or the daughter role, or even being the best friend from someone back in our primary school years. But to embody that true goddess self, to step into our womanhood and to make no apologies for changing. And I feel that's where many women get trapped, because they feel they're not allowed to change. But of course, we're always in a process of transformation. We are that continual process of moving from the chrysalis out into the butterfly, and it goes on and on and on and on. And we have full permission to do that, to rise up to that highest creative power that we are. So, yeah, what a beautiful ritual, rites of passage. And so, sorry, did she give you a new name, or did you end up with a new name? No. You didn't take the name.
No, and I also didn't. Like we were thinking about it afterwards, if we do want something like a new name. But for the moment, no, I do the internal work, and I internally did a lot of work on understanding, okay, me as a little girl, and that's who I am now. I'm still on my journey as well. So.
Yeah, and we all are. Yeah. I think whilst we're inhabiting the physical body, there's going to be something, but you make peace with it after some time, and you get very curious about a new layer of the onion, so to speak, that you can peel back. It becomes fun, and you're willing to sit in those denser and heavier emotions without needing to judge them as right or wrong, without needing to attach stories to them. You can simply roll up the sleeves and sit and do the work, and that's, I guess, where the real mastery comes in with your meditation and just being present to what is, and not having that idea that there's something wrong with you. In fact, I often get excited when there's something juicy to heal. So, you know, it's definitely part of being on the path for some time. So also a beautiful soul in your handbook is Keone Hanalei. Keone, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I wish I had that Hawaiian speak.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So he's divine. Oh my goodness. Tell us a little bit more about him.
Yeah, he really lights our hearts, like all the people in the book. It was such a beautiful, uplifting conversation. Actually, when we had the talk with him, we were a little stressed from the outside factors. We had all these ups and downs this year, like I guess most humans had, and sometimes it really gets a little closer to you when the craziness unfolds out there. Well, instantly when we had the conversation with him, it was like building this field which was not allowing false coding to come in, and instantly it was just joy and delight.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and he's a really wonderful guy who has this, I think, this purity, but also you feel that strength in him. Yes. And he has some really, well, what we thought interesting and surprising images, like he's presenting himself on his Instagram in a really masculine and really cool way. And when you watch interviews with him, for example, when he's so soft and pure and nice, but when you bring it together, it really makes sense. And I think that's this pure masculinity, a really good archetype of masculinity, which in a way he embodies. I admire that a lot, and it's a really nice energy to be with him.
Yes, and the Hawaiians can have that very strong warrior archetype, and but at the same time this luminescence and these huge hearts, and as you say, you know, bridging those two together is, it's the divine feminine meets the sacred masculine, and you know, it's almost frightening, but in the best possible way, because you know you're in the presence of someone who embodies both those elements so perfectly and in such beautiful balance. And really, I guess that's what the hero's journey is about, you know, defining that holy marriage between our inner feminine and our inner masculine, and knowing when one is in excess and one is in deficiency. And, you know, I guess that also harkens back to what you learn too in your Chinese medicine. It's always about that homeostasis, that balance between the elements and between the energies. So it's there in yoga too for the people who from our tribe, we're more yoga, but also do a lot of different healing therapies, and definitely love the Hawaiian side of things. One of our senior teachers is, I know she had a past life in Hawaii, and she does kahuna body work, and it's almost like she can speak Hawaiian. It just rolls off her tongue. There's something encoded in her. And when she does her bodywork sessions, and, you know, just that flow, that endless flow of kahuna, it's truly, truly magical and truly transformational. And also too, so same name as you, the most divine soul, Sacha Stone, is part of your book. Sasha was so kind to be part of a healing program that we did this year, Awaken New Earth healing program, really to give everyone a step-by-step practical guide in how to navigate through 2020, how to reclaim sovereignty. And I know that's a big theme also in your book. And Sasha definitely has, I think he's blown the lid off most people's third eye chakra. You know, they've remembered who they are. It's like, oh, hang on, I was living in a dream spell. Who am I again? And, you know, he is a crusader. He is amazing. Yeah, and again, he's got that warrior strength about him. And yet you can tell that the reason he does what he does is because he has that deep heart energy. You know, this man cares at a level that you don't often see in men. I'm not sure why some men have forgotten their true purpose. So let me congratulate you, Sasha, and Sacha Stone, the two Sashas out there doing the work. It must be something to do with your name, hey? So tell us a little bit more about Sacha Stone for those who don't know about him.
Yeah, well, we came across him, I think, some months prior, before we collected and connected to people for the book. And he really came up on our radar because what we think is that the hero's journey is a quest for sovereignty and for shedding these layers of falsehood that is the normal world. And I think for me, that's my personal interpretation of the hero's journey. But for me, it's so obvious that this is the hero's journey and that you have to do that and that you have to see, well, this is a matrix of crazy false codes and dream spells, like Sacha Stone says it. And so he appeared on our radar and we were so happy when he wrote back to us that we can have a conversation. And maybe you want to say something about him as well. It's more of an emotional level what I like to say about him, because I was really like nervous before we went into that interview, because I thought like, well, he has so much wisdom and knowledge, and so I was really shy. And having this conversation with him, there was not just wisdom and knowledge that he gave, but he is, I don't know, spreading out some energy of love and connection that really, I was just fascinated by him. And I can just really recommend everyone listening to this podcast to check him out and look into his interviews and that he's giving. He is really impressive and so, I don't know, so true. Like, I just really felt this connection that he's open and there's good coming out. And he and some of the other contributors in the book, they also gave this energy that we wanted in the book. It is a personal guide for your hero's journey, and you don't need to be on the level that you question the matrix already to read the book. But we also wanted this spreading of true codes inside of the book. And he's one of the people who do that, I think.
Yes. So let's talk about the matrix. Why not? It's a great subject matter. And our listeners, and I'm sure this podcast will go wider than, you know, our personal My Health tribe, but I definitely can speak for our listeners, is that they're hip to the groove of what's happening in the matrix. We started this podcast only this year because we needed a voice, we needed an outlet. We were receiving so many emails and so many messages from people just looking for direction. So we decided just to have some conscious conversations. We've met some resistance, of course, but for the most part, people are on board and you know, happily doing the inner work to break through and break out of the matrix. How would you describe, Sasha, the matrix? Because I'd love to hear your take on what the matrix is, how we got into this mess, and how we get ourselves out of this mess. And obviously it's to read the hero's handbook, so that goes without saying. But what's some wisdom from you?
How we got into this mess? That's a question I asked myself for decades, and I absorbed many theories about it. It's you find it in all myths of creation and the fall out of paradise, and whatever brought it upon us as humanity. Alien intervention or just the coming of a new age, the Kali Yuga, which ended the golden age before, or something happened, and you find that in every part of the world, in every tradition. It's almost the same account from this balanced state, like you said, where everything is in equilibrium. Kind of, we fall out of it. And I guess that happens slowly, and then over generations. And then you have these false codes into, first in the minds of people, and then they create societies out of it, and then they create countries and states, and they begin to destroy nature. And now it's a whole system. And of course, there are outside factors as well contributing to it. And I think that's what we like about the hero's journey concept, is that it describes this, but you can also just leave out the crazy stuff and just apply it for your own life. But I think this, the ordinary world, the first half of the hero's journey, that is the matrix, the status quo, because it almost has this ridiculousness to it. It's when you cross the threshold to the extraordinary world, and you begin to understand the first light codes in it, to speak in a Lemurian way. Then you're looking back and you see, wow, it turned upside down. It's the opposite. And that's, I think, what 2020 is showing many people, that everything that we idolized and we thought is good is maybe exactly the opposite. And the things that we thought were somehow spooky, they are the good things. And I think that is dying in a way. That's what the hero's journey asks us to do. It's the fear of dying for our physical body, of course, is very strong, ingrained in humans. But maybe what is even stronger is the fear of dying concepts and paradigms. And people fear that so much. It's almost, wow, it's like they have to let go of everything they have, but it's just a worldview. In the end, it's just a worldview. And that's what you see, I think, now. People holding on to ridiculous paradigms in society to a point where when you look from the outside, you see that it's just crazy. It makes absolutely no sense, but they are clinging to this worldview because they invested so much energy into it.
Oh, that's beautifully said.
I think when it also can turn, when it comes to a tipping point for an individual, it can turn, and then they maybe have a hard time, but afterwards it's not so hard as it seems beforehand.
Yes, quite right, because it seems so challenging, but actually in the long run it was the easiest path to take. To stay in the dream spell certainly is not easy, and it means Groundhog Day, and it means turbulent emotions and a physical body that is breaking down, and chaotic thoughts, and when we feel so disconnected spiritually, there's it's a hollowness, isn't it? It makes me very sad for people who have that hollowness in them and don't know how to fill that void, and no amount of distraction is ever going to fill that. So we invite everyone listening to embark upon your personal hero's journey and step outside of your comfort zone and know that the beloved, the creator, whatever you call that omnipotent energy literally has your back. He, she, home will catch you, every time you fall. And the paradox is you won't fall, you'll fly. And, we need to just keep taking another step and another step. I want to thank you guys so, so much. I actually feel I could just keep pumping you with questions just because it's so fascinating. And you both speak a very similar language. I love the way you use light codes. It's definitely something we use a lot. Eat foods with light codes. Be aware that you're recoding. All of these things. It really is about that the codes within us. So, Camilla, let's just ask you one final question, because there'll be so many women in particular that will be listening to this. So tell us about your romance with the lovely Sasha there, and what it means to be in a conscious relationship, and any tips for the ladies out there who go, I want what she's got. You weren't expecting that, were you?
Sorry, no, I can't ask you. You're not.
No.
Honestly, our relationship, it's been a journey on its own, and it was not easy at the beginning. We met, and and at the beginning we first started to work together, and then at some point we spent some time together and noticed that there's a lot of connection, and we have a lot to talk about, and then it kind of evolved, and I was really very fall in love with him very quickly, very deeply. But he was not so ready for me at that time. So it was a journey over a couple of years, actually, that we had to figure out what is it that we have here, how we do it. And we did in between. Honestly, we also had a breakup where I said, he couldn't really commit to me for some reasons, and I know, actually, they're not for some reasons. I think because I didn't commit it to myself. Yeah. So well said. And that's what he mirrored. So and so for a couple of years he didn't really commit it to me, which I thought but I want this relationship, and then at some point there was this waking up in myself that I thought, you know what, if he can't commit to me, I'm worse at no. So then we break up now. I'm not going with this anymore. And I think that was the turning point for him as well, because then it was that we went into, we met over a period of time. We always met, we're sitting in front of each other and telling each other what us hurt in the last years, and what we feel and what we want for the future. And it was really, really hard work. There were tears on both sides, and sometimes we jumped up in anger. So that opened it up. So since 2 years we are really bonded, and I can really tell he would just reflected what was in myself, and I didn't commit it to myself, but I expected him to do it, to commit to me. And so I think for maybe as a recommendation or anything for relationships out there, it's really to look inside. It's what do I want from my partner, and do I actually give it to myself? And also, how much do I love myself, and is that person also loving me that way? Because I see so many people being in relationships and kind of running after the partner and doing everything for the partner so they get the love, and they obviously it's a way on showing myself that I don't love myself enough, that I feel I have to give something to someone else to get the love. So
that's so
that
beautiful.
what came out of the question.
That's so beautiful. There's so many goddesses listening to you right now. I can feel them all not just nodding their head, their whole body's nodding, going, yes, yes, yeah, that's powerful. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that from your heart. And apologies for putting you on the spot, but it's wonderful to speak about conscious relationships. And I'm giving the compliment to all the goddesses out there, because there's so many women stepping up and doing their thing. And maybe I'm deluded, but it seems like it's the men that are the rare gems that are really doing the work. But that's why we have people like you, Sasha, that can invigorate the men and remind them about who they are, and get them, get them with their swords out and cutting away what's no longer serving them, and moving in the direction of their true purpose. So thank you again. Is there anything that you would like to just finish off with? Obviously, there'll be links for your Heroes Handbook, and guys, get on board and make sure you're supporting this amazing project. A little donation goes a long way, and if everyone just donates a little bit, then you will have met your quota, and that book will be out circulating and in our precious hands. So, but I'll leave you with final words.
I would like to say something, because like our vision for the new earth, for the future, for all for Mother Earth, and for all humans and any beings here on this earth, is that we really believe like this is the tipping point, and there can be change happening now, and we want to see a united world. I think I really would love to end this being divided. Like, yes, we are maybe divided through the time zones and through continents, but we are all like humans around this world, and there is so much love in us humans, and we need to bring this up, and we need to connect. This is also why the book, where we really wanted to see that we have people from different continents. We're sorry for Africa, we don't have anyone from Africa, we're really sorry for that, but to just show all around the world there at the moment people who are doing an amazing work to bring us together, and that's our vision for our future, to unite as mankind, and also with the nature, with planet Earth, with that is around us. And I think it's time that we see our whole world with our hearts, not just, of course it's important the loved ones, to take care of them, but just having in the back of our minds the whole world and all the people that are around there. I think that's my biggest wish, what we want to bring out there with the book as well, and with our work, and every single human has so much to give, and it definitely starts with just to the next loved one they have, to bring out the good, and but have your hearts out there for the whole world, and
and for the next days and weeks, and have your heart out there. That's a good advice, I think.
I got the truth bumps, I got the goosebumps. That's what it's about. Beautifully said again. So thank you. Anything from you, Sasha? Are you satisfied with this chat?
Good bumpy last words. It's wonderful. It's thank you so much for your work, for the energy you put out there, and the people you might activate, and it's just spreading, and
that's it.
The change cannot be stopped.
It can't, and as you said, Camilla, we're connecting all around the earth, and we're leading with the hearts, and we're finding such commonality amongst us all, and there's so many of us that are just giving up our time for free, and having these chats and delivering these truths, because that's what's important right now, just to help our fellow brothers and sisters as they are helping us. We continue to grow as we support others to grow. So it's it's a beautiful movement to be a part of, and I personally say thank you to 2020. I think you spoke about it before, Sasha, that gave us such great opportunities this year. And for me, it's tremendously exciting what's happening, and the portals that are opening up for us to dawn a new earth. Or maybe it's old earth, maybe it's how we were in our original sense, who knows. But we're definitely returning to a state of grace and a state of innocence. I'm going to be at Uluru in the Red Centre in Australia for the Grand Conjunction, And
Really?
yeah, and it's said to be, with the ley lines, it's said to be the centre. And so the original people of Australia, the wisdom keepers and the elders, say that there's a magic box, they call it magic box activation, that's going to happen. So and we don't want to put pressure on anyone that, you know, all of a sudden you'll vaporize and you'll ascend. It's not about that. I mean, if you do, hey, that's fantastic. But we definitely know it's almost like, I want to use your word about the gate. I might have to keep using that from now on. I love that. But it's almost like a gate that we're passing through, or a rites of passage, as you spoke about before, Camilla. So, you know, there's these momentous events that are upon us, and we can harness all of that powerful celestial energy right now, and you know, break through to a whole new way of being. So thank you for all you do, and for bringing the hero's journey to us. And yeah, I cannot wait to read the book and you know, share it with as many people as possible. So sending much love.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Namaste.
Have a wonderful night.
Have a wonderful day.
So nice.
Yeah.
Now it's young here and in your window.
It's gone dark outside here.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, much love.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.